Hello everyone. So today I kind of wanted to do an equipment kind of spotlight. I'm going to start doing little mini videos and kind of highlighting some of the equipment I'm using, and if applicable kind of some of the settings that I've decided to use so far with my tank. So for this video I wanted to start off by kind of going over my light system. If you've watched previous videos that I've uploaded here, you'll know that I'm running two Kessil A160 WEs up at the top, using just the standard Kessil aquarium goosenecks, zip tie all the cables to them. And then over there in the right corner I'm also using the Spectral Controller. Again, highly recommend getting the Spectral Controller if you're going the A160 or 360 route for the Kessils. If not, you're going to be forced to manually adjust them unless you want one specific light setting for your full light schedule for the day. Other than that, you'd have to manually adjust them at certain points of the day, and as you can assume, it's very tedious and not fun at all. So just kind of starting out here, guys, this is the Kessil A160 WE. They come in two different colors, this tuna blue, and then they also have a yellowish green, which I believe they call the tuna sun. Up at the top you can see there are two controls knobs up there, one for color, one for intensity, and then there are also right there two little auxiliary cables. I currently have it in the out. That is what goes to the actual Spectral Controller. If you wanted to, you could actually inline series these together. So essentially I could have used that left one there to basically, or I could have went the out into the in of the second one there and then just run one cable back to the Spectral Controller. I decided to just individually connect these. The Spectral Controller allows up to 2 ports per controller, and since I only have 2 lights, it was easy enough. But if you're running a larger aquarium where maybe you have 3-4 Kessils, you'd probably have to inline series them to the Spectral Controller. Pretty self-explanatory. And then obviously in the back there is your power right up the middle, and then they do include some zip ties. I went to my local hardware store and actually just purchased some 4-inch smaller zip ties. They're a little bit smaller than the ones that Kessil provides. Kessil provides, I believe, 3 per gooseneck package that you get, but these are like $2-3 at your local hardware store, and it gives you the ability to put a lot more. So you can see I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it lets you make it look a little bit more sleek when you're connecting it to the gooseneck. If not, you're just gonna have wires flailing all around. So that's primarily the main unit. Again, you got the 2 knobs, color, intensity, you got 2 auxiliary ports in and out, and then you have your main power, which connects right there. It's a little bit bulkier piece, but gotta get power to them somehow. And then again, so over here, just using some command strips right now. It's not 100% the cleanest look I wanted, but rather than having cords going all the way just straight down in a jumbled mess, I just used some command strips to kind of tidy it up a little bit. The bottom here, that center one is like a micro USB. That is your power source, and then left and right are your auxiliaries. You'll notice they do look a little different. One thing that you'll want to note, the Spectral Controller only comes with one 6-foot auxiliary cable. I probably should have assumed that, but I didn't have enough common sense to realize it, so I just went to my local retailer and picked up a GE brand 6-foot auxiliary cable, and it works just fine. And I will tell you this too, guys, if you are in the market and needing to buy more than one, I would highly recommend going that route, because I believe through any retailer you would purchase this through, the 6-foot auxiliary cable for Kessil, they're about $19.99. I paid roughly $6-7 for the 6-foot GE. So if you, like I said, if you're in the market and you need more than one, I would go the generic route. I don't think it's causing any negative effects on the Kessils or the lighting system. Everything seems to be working fine. So thus far I'm pretty happy with it, and you know, you save 12-13 bucks, you can't really complain. So we'll kind of go in here now to the actual Kessil and get it on. It has, I still have the cover on it. It is 24-hour time clock. You can't really tell right now because it's noon, it's 12:03. But this is the main screen that you'll get. So it's going to tell you what's at port 1 and port 2. So I'll go into this in detail in a little bit, but you have quick settings you can do, or if not, there is a manual mode. So if we hit the enter button again, you can see up top here, you have a manual mode where you can manually adjust it, or if you're currently in a program mode, it's going to tell you what it's currently at. So right now I'm at 50% color and 75% intensity, and that's about what it's looking like right now. Just keep in mind too, it looks a little bit more blue in the camera shot here than it does in real life. Looking at my tank, it's a little bit more white. You can definitely tell it's still, you know, a more percent blue, but keep in mind the video isn't a really realistic approach of what the tank looks like. But again, so up at the top here you have your manual settings, your program settings. This is where you would create your programs. Once you have programs made, you would go to your port set feature up here, and basically port 1 and 2, which is my Kessil 1 and 2 lights, you just tell it which one you want. So if you wanted to run 2 different programs, you could. I'm running the same program that I have right now, and I'll kind of go in detail in a minute of the current program that I'm running, the light schedule on it. And then the last setting on here is the actual settings. So when you first get this is where you're going to set your time and date, because obviously the system is not going to work properly if it does not have the proper time. Date maybe not as important, but you definitely want to make sure you have the time. Firmware, mine was up to date when I got it, but if you need to update the firmware, that's where you can check to see what firmware you're currently in, and if you need to update it. Just you go to Kessil.com, click on the Spectral Controller, look for the firmware update, and check to see that it's the same one. And then the last feature here in the settings is the display. So you could, I think there's 2 options. You can select how long you want the screen to stay on before it goes kind of into sleep mode, as well as the brightness. So going, and then looking at the controller, guys, so you have your kind of like standard enter button, your up, down, left, right, and then your back button. Your enter button here is pretty much going to take you into it. So for instance, if I hit it, I'm into the settings, and then I can use the arrow keys. They're a little bit touchy with the screen still on. And then the back button will take you back up top or completely back to your main screen. But we're going to get back into the menu mode here. I'm going to go back to the program, and it really lets you run 2 different types of programs, guys. So your quick sets here are essentially your normal light schedules. It also has this cool acclimation mode, which is kind of more of a preset schedule, and it basically will ramp up your intensity and color over a designated amount of days. So you may start at, let's say, a maximum of 50% color and 70% intensity, but then maybe over the course of a week it ramps up to 80% color and 100% intensity, or whatever you choose to decide. But that's kind of what the acclimation mode is. So it's going to increase your percentages over a select period of time, versus the quick set mode is your generic light schedule of at what points per day do you want, like what color and what intensity do you want at certain pinpoints in the day. And so I'll go in here real quick, guys. I already kind of did 2, but I'm currently running quick set number 3 that I have seem to be liking as of lately. So this is the mode that you'll enter in when you go into the quick set mode. And as you can see down here, it's got 6 different pinpoints. Then down here is just your preview, your save, and your delete option if you want to delete the quick set or save it when you're done. But right at the top it tells you what quick set you're in. I'm unaware if you're able to rename those I've just been leaving it as generic. Right below that is your time that you would set for each pinpoint. And then we'll go into detail here. The next part is where you would actually select your color and intensity. So let's say we wanted to get into this first pinpoint here. Mine currently starts at 10 a.m. So you hit enter and it goes into this mode where it's showing you all your options. So at 10 a.m. I have 0% color, which is pretty much just blue, and intensity at 10%. If we hit enter again, this is your edit mode. So this is where you go to change your time, your color, and your intensity. I'm gonna back out because obviously I don't want to make any adjustments, but I'll kind of run through my current 6-point schedule for you guys. It's a 10-hour schedule from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. I may increase that to 12 hours once I actually get some livestock in the tank, but as of right now I'm pretty happy with the settings. So at 10 a.m. 0 and 10%. At noon it ramps up to, actually let me do a quick video here. So this is what it would look like at 10 a.m. A little bit more blue. Again, the video probably not the best color representation. Moving over to noon, it ramps up to 30% color, 40% intensity. Can't really tell the difference, guys, on the camera, I apologize, but it is more white, a little bit more clear video. Go over again at 2 o'clock, 60% color, 80% intensity. At 4 o'clock, 65% color and 85% intensity, and this is pretty much my peak. You can kind of tell there it's a little bit more white in the video. Then from this point I start ramping it down. So this is 6 o'clock, it goes back down to 30% color, 40% intensity, before it shuts off at 8 o'clock at 0 and 0. I do not run a moonlight type setting all night just to kind of conserve some power. And with it being a new tank, I don't really want to have potential algae outbreaks, so I just run it off all night. So yeah guys, that's pretty much the Spectral Controller review, settings that I'm running, as well as a little bit of review on the actual Kessil units themselves. Guys, I'm really happy so far with the lighting. I think I chose the right type. Obviously I was debating between 2 of these or 2 of the 360s, and I just felt like the 360s with the wattage that it produces would just be way too much. So I'm really happy with what I decided on. Another thing that I do want to tell you guys here, so as you can kind of see, it's at 32% color and 43% intensity right now, and you guys are probably like saying, well, that's not one of your settings. Well, cool thing about the Spectral Controller, guys, is it creates a graph. So as you can kind of see, the yellow and blue lines there, it automatically adjusts it. So it just knows that by those certain 6 pinpoints, it needs to get to your set recommendation or your set schedule. So it's automatically ramping up gradually to those pinpoints and then back down to those pinpoints, versus some other systems out there, like if you were doing a timed controller or something else, would only go to the specific points that you designated at that time. So you're having very rapid changes in your intensity and color, versus the cool part about Kessil's, well, it automatically does the graph for you, it adjusts it for you, which is a really sweet feature and something I did not know when I originally bought it, and I just learned about it. So really happy with that feature as well. So yeah guys, I'm going to wrap up here. Hope this was informative for anyone out there maybe needing some more information on Kessil's, debating about buying them or currently having them, and just maybe wanted some more questions answered. But yeah guys, feel free to leave any questions, comments, or suggestions below, and I'd be happy to answer them. Thanks for watching.